here you have Jake Tapper engaging in a career reorientation as he makes it seem as though he didn't actively play a role in refusing to address Joe Biden's mental decline.
Biden and new questions being raised about his mental fitness before leaving office. A new book is outlined.
That's not Jake Tapper, is it? No, the book is written by Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson. Now, I'm not super familiar with all of Alex Thompson's criticisms. We are Twitter moots after all. Maybe he was more critical of Biden's mental sanity, but Jake certainly was defending him until it was indefensible.
New claims about former President Biden's physical and mental health. The book, Original Sin, claims Biden's health had become so severe that there were internal discussions about putting the president in a wheelchair after the election.
They started putting aides around him as he walked to Marine One, the helicopter. That was to kind of hide from public view how bad his gait was, how bad his walking.
Yeah, dog, this was September 26, 2024. Where were you before September 26, 2024? You know what I'm saying? I was there. Every American was seeing that reality. Every American was recognizing that reality.
At a fundraiser last year with actor George Clooney, the authors claim Biden seemed severely diminished and did not recognize Clooney despite Biden knowing him for decades. According to the book, former President Obama, also at that fundraiser, had difficulty making sense of Biden's behavior and blamed Biden's busy schedule. But the authors say Obama would come to realize that scheduling was not the fundamental problem.
Like, I feel like Alex Thompson was way more critical on Joe Brandon and earlier in comparison to every other member of the media, many other members of the media. One of the first libs that came out and actually criticized Biden's age and diminished quality was Ezra Klein, I remember. But of course, far before then, you know who was out there in the fucking trenches? People like myself, people like yourself. We all saw this reality. And yet, mainstream media actively dropped the ball. They were so predisposed with trying to defend the institutions that they just did not make a big fuss about it, and actually would silence people who were making a big fuss about it. Yeah. Favreau anecdote here. A sharp Biden in 2022, a lost Biden in 2024 is emerging. Is the emerging Dem CW. Basically, that he started fading badly after the midterms, not unrelated to Hunter's trouble. Except this isn't the case. A full 2 years prior to 75% of registered Dems did not want Biden running in 2024. In 2022, 75% of Democratic voters want someone other than Biden in 2024. Okay? The New York Times published a Biden is old article every week, if I recall correctly. No, that is also not true. The timeline is messed up here. Every single liberal outlet changed trajectory once Biden's brain malfunctioned in broad daylight in front of 50 million Americans that tuned in to the debate. But the idea that, I mean, I have a tweet from 2019. Chat, pull my tweet from 2019, please. Someone, you know the one I'm talking about, where I say Biden's going to be a one-term president. Why are we dropping the incumbent advantage by picking him as the guy? Chat isn't Grok? Yes, that's why I'm relying on chat instead of Grok. Thank you, Kilburn. Here it is, April 14, 2020, not 2019. One truly wild thing that we haven't really talked about is Biden's stated interest in being a single-term president. Like, we're just going to throw away our incumbent advantage because Joe's going to be a vegetable by the end of his presidency. Truly incredible stuff. Because that was a false rumor, says Capricola. Ugopnik following. Maybe he's based now. The unfortunate reality is that Biden's decline is different and in many ways less ignorable than Trump's. Trump's been on a slow decline so long, it's like boiling the frog. Yeah, I also remember duking it out with Libophonics and Fango Libs in the chat, where I was talking to both of them at a time when they were like, well, Trump is also mentally diminished too. And I kept telling them, yeah, except Trump's mental decline is representing itself in like erratic behavior and irrational behavior, but he's still more coherent than Biden is. Biden's mental decline makes him look like a doddering old man. Here, this is from 2019. This is now my favorite kind of lib weirdo on the internet. The one who's like, wow, the online left is terrible because you're not pro finger sucking. It's just a little suck. Joe Biden has been showing signs of mental decay since day one, and that's before we get to his policies. The thing is, I didn't even say or imply he's a rapist or whatever some libs think I was signaling. It's just another clear example of Biden doing an extremely abnormal thing because his brain is doo-doo. Look at that. Destiny was right about you. Holy he wasn't sucking on his wife's fingers. She was waving her hand in front of his face and he was trying to be funny. If people watched the entire thing, it would be left completely unnoticed. The online left is a huge disappointment. I guess they stopped posting after that embarrassing take. If you got mad even for a second about this new car meme on the internet, I own you. I'm living rent-free inside your minds. You are predictable. Pulling the lever. What is this? Free scrolling a rando's profile. I like seeing where they're at now, you know? The where they're at now memes. Yeah. Pulling the lever was switch the trolley. He's like, they left Twitter and have a job. They literally follow you. Yeah, they were following me and they were making very bad takes in the process of following me. Like this one. Yes, I made a photo of Biden sucking his wife's finger look worse by posting the unedited photo. Thank God the people who trust zero info from me are these big brains. Also, love that you originally thought it was a Photoshop, then quickly moved on to it's just a little suck. Man, I used to duke it out. I used to duke it out with randos way more on Twitter. Sigh. Of course, it's on the Hun either intentionally made this look worse or didn't fact check it, so it makes it look much worse than it actually is. This is why I trust zero information from you. There's nothing someone can say or do that is worthy of of saying they need a lobotomy. You should delete this. Dude, why are so many of these accounts simply on Twitter to just constantly complain about what I say and do, regardless of who I have positioned against as an enemy? This guy is literally defending the pronouns guy. I swear this is mental illness. I swear this is a significant type of mental illness. I like that they're retired though. Brother, it's 2025. No, I know. My point is, all of these guys that were questioning my analysis at that time were wrong, and I was right, which is why you should be maybe a little bit more charitable when I say something that doesn't smell right at first. Okay? That's the point. I've been saying it. You don't just have jock privilege, you have jock envy too. Do you understand? At least these people realized what they were doing so stupid they dropped it and instead cyber stalking you on other platforms probably. Anti-SJW, fem Twitter, YouTube coming back hard like it's 2016. The gamers are on the march and I hate all of it. I know. They're going to use that against you. Use what against me? The reason why we're going down this rabbit hole is not just to say I was right. The reason why we started this rabbit hole was because I wanted to show you that this wasn't like crazy or it came out of nowhere. Okay? That's it. That was another take that I had, by the way, that once Biden became president, I was like, we're going to go back to Gamergate era politics. That also took place. I already know you are right. I thought you were a center-left streamer with Radlib fans in 2020. I was introduced to you by Chapo Election Watch in 2020. Oh, nice. Anyway, Destiny was right about you. Holy he wasn't sucking on his wife's fingers. How does it feel to be consistently wrong all the time? It's crazy. And so shameless, too, about it. You just got the wrong information. And at no point do you go, man, the person who's like speech patterns I'm trying to emulate here is consistently leading me astray. Perhaps I should seek out maybe even some of the people that I was uncharitable to and realize that that person has been duping me. Okay. December 2019 was right after the N-word and private clip fallout with Destiny 2 Lamont. Yeah. And now in 2025, isn't his court trial tomorrow? They're pre-tweaking. No, actually, since the Destiny Sex Pest court cases that have popped up because of numerous victims coming out bravely, his community hasn't really been in here that much, or rather, they've taken a new shape, which is the H3H3 community. They actually have either completely reformed they've reshaped their angle of attack. They've engaged in metamorphosis. You can see them swarming Palestine posts on Reddit all the time. Yeah. You made people get super mad about whether Joe Biden sucked on Jill's fingers. That's an insane thing to get mad at. Is it the dumbest thing you've gotten libs angry about? No. I'm sure there are way, way dumber things that I've gotten libs angry over. Wait a minute. There's drama between you and H3? No. There's drama between H3 and his own mind. Anyway, where was I? Yeah. How do we dive into this? It's because I think a lot of people are behaving as though Biden was already fully cognitively there when they clearly weren't.
A Biden spokesperson refutes the book, saying, "We continue to await anything that shows where Joe Biden had to make a presidential decision."
Don't agree with what you say in state's opinion equals they have a mental illness and wrong? No, that's not true. There are plenty of people who disagree with me that I have reasonable disagreements with. They're not all mentally ill. The reason why I call the people that I call mentally ill are mentally ill people. The type of people that spend an incredible amount of time, in the like this. Hasan said he was in the trenches. Lamau Cap, he got a point. Don't agree with me. Like you would be probably in the mentally ill category. It's like if you don't like my opinion, I don't know why the you're consuming this content.
Or where national security was threatened, or where he was unable to do his job. In fact, the evidence points to the opposite. He was a very effective president. Last week, Biden and the former First Lady pushed back against a slate of new books, claiming he was dealing with cognitive decline at the end of his presidency.
They are wrong. There's nothing to sustain that.
The people who wrote those books were not in the White House with us, and they didn't see how hard Joe worked every single day.
A Biden spokesperson says the authors did not fact-check the book with them.
In my assessment, a move that was that unprecedented, having a brand new nominee 90 days before a presidential election against a nominee that was...
AOC defense wanting Biden to stay in the 2024 presidential contest. Oh my God, AOC, what are you doing? Every moment that you spend on this is a moment where you're not actually endorsing Zohran Mamdani for New York mayor. Come on, please.
Had been running for 4 years straight, was a major risk. And so, I think regardless of what the situation was, it was such an unprecedented move that, I think everyone in so much uncertainty, everyone had their own opinions on the matter. And we saw, what happened. Vice President Harris ran an excellent campaign, but it was 90 or so days. And I think it was very, very hard I think it's very challenging for the American people to assess a new nominee 90 days out from an election.
We're back with former President Joe Biden. He's going to be joined now by the woman who's devoted her life to initiatives that make education accessible for everyone, a fierce advocate for women's rights, and a devoted wife of 47 years. Please welcome back former First Lady.
Oh my God, bro, he looks like
Dr. Jill Biden.
Yeah.
Believe me, I do.
So, Sonny, you have the first question.
I do. Dr. Biden, you...
Bro, this is so strange. It's like out of a nightmare. It feels like it's I don't know. There is like a very weird aura to this entire process. It's so awkward. What the
You have officially been a private citizen for 109 days.
Wow.
What was the first thing you did as a private citizen that you weren't allowed to do as First Lady? And just how is it going?
It's going really well. And the first thing, I don't know. I'm shopping in the supermarket a little bit more than I was.
Yeah.
So, and we've taken the train. We never could take the train before.
Yeah.
In the last couple
Dude, what the Dude, it looks crazy. Dude, this is a fever dream. It looks so crazy. He looks like, oh my God, put him out of his misery, dude. What the hell? Oh, Remember the piece about him piping her? How can I forget? Our glorious president is in great health. He breaks Jill Biden's back every night. The secret to their healthy marriage is how she throws it back, how he nuts inside of her. This is how the Daily Mail reports Biden still got it. He's piping her down. Stop. I will not stop. This is real journalism.
Days I've been on a lot of airplanes. So I've been in LA and New York and DC. So, so doing a lot of traveling.
But you still have Secret Service. That's the benefit.
Yeah.
But it also means you're not. Anyway.
Of course.
You can't be too out there.
Yeah.
Mr. President, since you left office, there have been a number of books that have come out, deeply sourced from Democratic sources, that claim in your final year.
Bro, he hit the anyway 12 seconds in. I don't think he looks bad. Chatter, are you a mortician? What do you mean he doesn't look bad? Do you work in the morgue, dude? He looks like a dapper 150. Show older pics. Like, as in photos of people that are still alive but older. The only one I can point to is like those random AI generated videos of like, this guy in India is 250 years old. And it's just like a cadaver that's like barely standing up. That's an older picture. A picture of an older person, you know? Jimmy Carter comes to mind before he died when his mouth was unable to close. I'm being serious.
There was a dramatic decline in your cognitive abilities in the final year of your presidency. What is your response to these allegations, or are these sources wrong?
They are wrong. There's nothing to sustain that, number one. Number two, you know, think of what we were left with. We were left with a circumstance where we had an insurrection when I started. Not since the Civil War. We had a circumstance where we were in a position that the pandemic, because of the incompetence of the last outfit, end up over 1 million people dying. And we're also in a situation where we found ourselves unable to deal with a lot of just basic issues.
Anyway.
Which I won't go into.
Your most base take is that January 6th is funny. It is. It was so.
In the White House with us. And they didn't see how hard Joe worked every single day. I mean, he'd get up, he'd put in a full day, and then at night I'd be in bed, you know, reading my book, and he was still on the phone, reading his briefings, working with staff. I mean, it was nonstop. It's the White House, being president is not like a job. It's a lifestyle. It's a life that you live. You live it 24 hours a day. That phone can ring at 11 o'clock at night or 2 in the morning. It's constant. You never leave it. And Joe worked really hard. I think he was a great president. And if you look at things today...
He was a genocidaire and a ginormous piece of shit and incredibly selfish. And not only that, but also his brain is doo-doo. Why the fuck are people clapping to
today,
this?
give me
God,
Joe Biden anytime.
That's worth the invitation to come to the show.
And Mr. President, just to follow up on this, some of the reporting is that people like the former president you served under, Barack Obama, George Clooney, a longtime supporter of yours, major Democratic donor, Chuck Schumer, your dear friend Nancy Pelosi, also had expressed concerns about your ability to do the job for 4 more years. Can I ask what your relationship is with President Obama and how you address those concerns that they raised?
Well, look, I think that the only reason I got out of the race was because I didn't want to have a divided Democratic Party. It was a simple proposition. And so that's why I got out of the race. I thought it was better to put the country ahead of my interest, my personal interest. I'm not being facetious. I'm being deadly earnest about that.
Yeah, we know.
And I think that, you know, we still, let me put it this way. I had 6 more months. I did a pretty good job in 6 months.
Yeah.
As a former president. I mean, I was doing the G20 in Brazil in November. I was meeting with Xi. I mean, there's nothing that changed in terms of my work ethic or the success we had with foreign policy or domestic policy.
It's especially funny that under the Biden leadership, the reasonable foreign policy guy, the adult in the room, basically fucked up international rule-based order harder than any other president, like worse than Donald Trump even. Donald Trump won, I mean. That's what's so crazy about this. Like, he literally, there was a higher expectation, a higher standard for people like Biden, for the Democrats in this situation. He ran on being the adult in the room. He ran on bringing about an end to this chaos with Donald Trump. And then under his rulership, the only positive thing that he brought forward was the pullout from Afghanistan in terms of American foreign policy. And then everything else after that was a ginormous disaster. He did NATO on his way out. He did a genocide.
But look, I understand.
You were looking for the words rule-based order. Did I say something wrong? I don't know. My brain is dookie too.
And the last thing we needed was for me to, and by the way, it's not illegitimate to say, look, I know he only looks like he's 40, but...
Okay, I'm done. I can't watch the rest of this.